Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. My name is Muhammad Imran bin RAHIM and this is my final year project presentation with a topic of effect of corrosive environment on mechanical properties of mild steel wrapped with different types of fiber composite. This is a table of content throughout the presentation which I have divided into 4 parts, which the first is project summary. Second one is introduction, which I will be describe the background, literature review, problem statement and objective, and also scope and limitation of the project. And the third is methodology, which overview on the design of the experiment and also the sample testing. And last but not least is the expected result, which explaining on the graph of rate of corrosion and also flexural graph. Okay, let's move to project summary. Our focus for the project is to determine the material behavior of the mild steel that wrap with different types of fiber composite. In this project, there will be 3 tests that will be conducted, which is involved of physical test, which is density test and also visual inspection will be conducted. And the second will be rate of corrosion with involved of potential dynamic test, and the last will be mechanical test of flexural test. For the rate of corrosion test, it is used to determine the electrochemical reaction of the material, and for the mechanical test, it is used to determine the strength and stiffness of the metal bar by measured the deflection of the metal. For the introduction, composite reinforced is composed by combining resins and fibers. The combination of the fiber produces material that have properties of lightweight, durable, and also resistant to cracking and breaking. Other than that, high strength to weight ratio and excellent fatigue resistance that makes most of the company, including aerospace, automotive, and construction, use FRP in their projects. The uses of FRP in some of the piping and also oil and gas companies is used to prevent from cracking and also for long-lasting usage of the pipe. And last but not least, fiber reinforced composite also helps to improve the sustainability in terms of strength, density, and less harm for the marine ecosystem. This is my literature review that have been extracted throughout the journal that published on the website, which involve of the which explain the FRP, fiber reinforced composite, is one of the alternative way to prevent from damage on the pipes. In this literature review also, I have searched and found some of the research that related to my project, which involve of the properties of FRP, and also conditioning that will be involved of accelerated weather and also soaking conditions. Okay, for problem statement, why this is project is conducted is due to regarding financial loss that suffered from various of company involving of piping companies, which they extended their limits of impact and safety of the environment, which can causing harm for the marine ecosystem. And how to solve this problem is various studies shows that to increase the strength of the metal, fiber reinforced composite is one of the method to enhance the strength of the metal. And what to be observed for this project is the mechanical properties of mild steel that wrap with different types of composite fiber and determine the material behavior of the metal bar wrap after under various of conditioning process. Okay, there are 3 objectives have been discovered throughout this project. First is to determine the rate of corrosion of the mild steel bar, and the second to investigate the mechanical properties of mild steel bar by using flexural test after wrap with different types of fiber composite. And last but not least, the third one is to evaluate the flexural properties of the mild steel bar that wrap with different type of fiber composite after exposing to accelerated weather and soaking conditions. Okay, this is scope and limitation. The aim of this project is to determine the material behavior of the mild steel bar that wrap with different types of fiber composite. This table shows the scope of the project, which involve of number sample, which have 4 types, which is for control for 3 samples, accelerated weather machine and 3 samples, soaking 12 samples, anti-fouling 12 samples. And for the fiber that will involve throughout this project will involve of 4 fibers, which is basalt fiber, carbon fiber, aringa pinnata, and also glass fiber. For the testing, there will be 3 testing, which involve of mechanical testing of flexure test, rate of correction test by using potential dynamic, and also for the physical test involve of inspection and also density test. For the conditioning, there will be 3 types of condition that will be involved, which are for control, accelerated weather, and also soaking. And the limitation of the project is to determine the rate of correction of the mild steel by using potential dynamic, which obtain the result of the Tefl slope of the potential dynamic polarization curve. This table shows the whole scope that will be involved during this project. As you can see here, there are control specimen that will be involved of density and also rate of correction testing. And for the condition, there will be 2 conditions which involve, so there are 3 conditions which involve of accelerated weather, soaking, and also anti-fouling. For the anti-fouling, we will be submerged into the seawater. For the soaking, there will be 3 solutions that will be involved, which is neutral, acidic, and alkaline solution. And for the accelerated weather, it is placed inside the chamber for 21 days. And for the soaking, it will be monitored throughout 4 months, which involve on day 30, 60, 90, and 120. Let's move to methodology. There are 5 steps of methodology for this project, which the first one is literature review, where I have to do a research on the journal on the website that related to the final year project title. And the second is material selected, which I have to identify the material that's suitable for the project. Third is the sample fabrication, which involve of process of cutting metal, weight and density test, wrapping process, vacuum bagging process, and also the final is the finishing process. And the fourth step is collecting data, which the samples will be exposed on the various conditions. And the last but not least is the data analysis, which the data of the sample will undergo 2 types of testing, which involve of mechanical testing, flexure test, and also the rate of correction test, which involve of potential dynamic test. Move to methodology, which is involved of vacuum bagging process. Vacuum bagging process is essential, as it is the first step of the sample fabrication of the sample in this project. Okay, the first step is to prepare to do the vacuum bagging process. First, we need to prepare the metal. In this project, I will be use mild steel bar with a sample size of 80 mm times 50 mm and 3 mm of thickness. And then the second step is prepare and cut the woven fibers that will be involved in this project, which are glass fiber, basalt fiber, carbon fiber, and aringa pinnata. And the second step is to prepare resin, which I will be use Cornada 250 OMPL summer house, which the part A is pour into the part B and mix properly. And then the resin will be spread into the mild steel, and the fiber will wrap around the metal. And after that, I will put the breathable ply for the vacuum bagging process and turn on the vacuum and leave it for 1 hour. And after that, turn off the vacuum after 1 hour and place into the open air to be cool for 1 hour. And this is the picture that I have been done during this FYP session, which I use carbon fiber wrapped with metal, and also I already cut it into a small pieces by finishing to do the finishing process. Let's move to methodology. Also in methodology, but it is for conditioning of the sample. So there are 2 conditions that will be used throughout this FYP final year project, which are accelerated weather and also soaking. Accelerated weather is more focusing on the test to evaluate the durability of the material after exposed inside the chamber that involve of sunlight, heat and also moisture. The sample will be placed inside the chamber for 21 days, and after that 21 days, after the 21 days, the sample will be taken out from the chamber to do mechanical testing. And the second condition is soaking. Soaking, there are 3 solutions that will be involved, which is acid, alkaline and neutral, which the sample will be submerged into the solution and leave it for 4 months, which the samples will be monitored on day 30, day 60, day 90 and also day 120. Testing, there will be 2 different of testing which involve of mechanical testing, which is FIBRE test. The FIBRE test will be testing by using universal testing machine UTM with a support span of the sample of 48 mm and using a 3 bending point to identify the strength and stiffness by amount of deflection that occurs on the metal bar. And the second will be rate of corrosion test. But for the rate of corrosion test, I will be conducted on the control sample that will be unwrapped with the fiber composite, which is to identify the electrochemical behavior material by using potential dynamic test. By using potential dynamic test, the TEFL plot will be resulted, which to determine the rate determining step and the data of electrochemical reaction. Okay, for the expected result, the first picture is shows the rate of the TEFL slope, which is resulted by using potential dynamic test. It is functionally to determine the rate of corrosion of the metal steel bar that unwrapped with the fiber composite. The second picture shows the FIBRE test, which have been conducted by using universal testing machine and a 3-point bending that used to determine the stiffness and also the deflection of the metal bar for the unwrapped and also the wrapped metal bar with different type of fiber composite. Okay, that's all for me for the presentation of my final year project 1. If you have any questions, please do contact me, Muhammad Imran bin Abdul Rahim, and also I have attached my phone number for any questions. That's all from me. Thank you very much.